Okay. You're walking down the hallway, and you're headed to the bathroom, and you walk past one of your great friends from another team. What do you say? Raise your hand. What do you say? Marley. Hi. That's it? That's all you say? Hi. Yeah.
I say yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. Okay. That's weird. That sounds like slang. What else?
I do this.
Okay, so some kind of like code movement of the arms. This is going to be on the Google. Yeah.
It really depends on who the person is.
Depends on who it is, but I'm saying it's one of your great friends. Like you're really close with this person. Maybe they even had, you like hung out with them yesterday. Yeah.
I like to be fun.
And do what to them? Okay, ignore them. That's not what I'm getting at. Okay, so then a different scenario. What if Principal Campbell is walking past? Like he's headed straight to my room. He's my boss. And let's pretend you walk right past him, and you don't know him very well, like you've met him before, but he makes eye contact right with you. But you're not in trouble. What would you say if you make eye contact with him? What would you say? Hi. Maybe with a smile. What?
This has happened, and I always say, hello, Principal Campbell.
Hello, Principal Campbell. Okay, Joe. Sup? I don't think that would happen. So, what about if there's someone you know who maybe you know that you need to be polite with that person, but you're not really friends with that person. I can't think of a good example. Maybe like an acquaintance. Yeah, somebody you know, someone you'd be polite with, but you're not best friends with that person, and you make eye contact as you're walking past each other in the hallway. What would you say? Just say hi. Okay, so you've got the friend scenario where it's hi. You've got the principal scenario where it's hello. And you have the kind of acquaintance, polite scenario, hi. Okay, notice how the tone is different in all three of those. That is the same in essay writing, right? Like, if you are writing in a journal, you'll use that conversational tone like you would use with friends. But when you're writing an essay, we call it formal tone. Would you please write these notes in your revising notes on today's date? I'll make it a little larger so you can see better. I want you to be aware of tone in your writing in the same way that you're aware of tone in your interactions. So, to be aware of tone in your writing, it's a little bit different than being aware of tone in your interactions with people, but not too much different. When I'm asking you to be aware of tone in your writing, I'm asking you in your writing to think about word choice, sentence length, and sentence variety. And you don't really need to copy all these notes down. If you miss it, come back and grab it later. You could pause the video if you need to. Be aware of tone. Think about word choice and sentence length and variety. The key here is a formal tone. So you're sort of in that mindset like if you were addressing Mr. Campbell and you would say, hello, Principal Campbell, right? We're in that formal type of writing. I tend to call it sophisticated. There's something fancy about this writing, fancy and persuasive. Like we want to be convincing here. And so to do that, there are some tricks. If you didn't get all of that, don't fear. I want to take down a couple of other notes. You don't need to write this down, but just look up here. You're not going to use a word like this in your formal essay. Gonna is a word that I say every day. I'm going to go get lunch. I'm going to go pick up my kids. I'm going to go give Mr. Bishop a swirly.
Will you do that?
No.
What if it's in a quote?
Going to, right? That's a wet willy. Okay, so you're not going to use the word gonna. You're not going to use a word. You're not going to use a word like stuff. Why not stuff? Stuff sounds like super vague. It's not specific. So instead, you'd use item, object. See how I'm taking common words that we say every day all the time, and I'm changing it. Because stuff might be an object or an item, but stuff could be an idea, stuff like that. See what I did there? We've already talked about informal writing that you don't use words like we or I typically. in formal writing, you avoid saying you, and instead you'd switch it to saying things like people. And that takes a lot of revising sometimes in a sentence if you use the word we. So you get more general by using a word like people. Okay, so that's a little bit about tone, but now I want to show you how I've done this in an old essay that I started last year. And I was going to use it as an example with my class last year, and I didn't, so I saved it to use with you guys. It's an essay that I started writing about a book called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I'm going to read it for you first. It's about this guy. You'll learn a little bit about him in the paragraph. Are you ready? I want you to pay attention to my word choice. What word choice seems strong and formal, sophisticated, kind of fancy, and what word choice needs to be elevated? Ready? In the middle,
Yeah.
Thurber uses gloves to symbolize how trapped Walter is all the time. Walter does not want to be safe and warm. He wants to have adventures and be like a hero. But his wife keeps telling him to wear his gloves. Thurber uses this everyday thing to symbolize how Walter wants to get out. Okay, first, tell me what words I use that are strong and sophisticated. Name it. Say it. Symbolize. How do you know that that's strong and sophisticated? Hello, it was right in your notes, right? This is the idea of symbols. That's craft move. That's academic language that we've learned about in class. So when you use symbolize in your essay, perfect. And maybe if I don't want to use it twice in the same paragraph, maybe I could revise one of them and say, maybe something like Thurber uses this everyday thing to, what's another word that could kind of mean symbolize, but it's elevated, it's,
Personification.
yeah, but that's not the same thing. I think I might say represent, because to represent and to symbolize are pretty similar. So I'll consider changing that so I don't say the word twice in one paragraph. Thurber uses this everyday thing to represent how Walter wants to get out. See how that works without saying the same word twice? Okay, but tell me, without telling me how to fix it, just tell me spots where I haven't used formal tone. What do you notice?
What is this thing?
Thing. Got to change that. What else? Yep. He right here. Okay. I'm not sure how I'll change that, but I'll think about it. Where else? Where does it sound like I could make it fancier? This whole idea all the time. In the middle, you said that when I was reading it, didn't you? You said that part right there. I got to change that. That's not really specific. It sounds like in a conversation. Like I'd say, well, in the middle of the book, this happens. What do you think? Where? Oh, let's not edit it, or let's not revise it yet. Let's not change it. Let's just look at where else I could change it. In the middle, Thurber uses gloves to symbolize how trapped Walter is all the time. Walter does not want to be safe and warm. He wants to have adventures and be like a hero is a little weird. Maybe I'd edit that and revise it. His wife keeps telling him, maybe there's a better word than his wife telling him to wear his gloves. Thurber uses this everyday thing we've already talked about, to show how Walter wants to get out. I bet I can come up with a better word than get out. Okay, quick. Let's revise this. In the middle. Well, let me tell you right away, I'm going to get more specific, and I'm going to say, let's just pretend, because I can't remember. I'm going to say chapter 6. Like, I don't remember exactly what it was. I'll fact check that later. But what you need to know is, there's this whole essay that's come before this. I've only extracted one paragraph for us to look at now. So up here, way up this way, there's a body paragraph 1, there's the introduction, then body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2. This is body paragraph 3. So already in my writing, I've started to develop this argument. And what I want to do now is transition here and say, not only did I give you all these other great examples, check out what example I'm about to give you now. What's a word that does that? That transition from, I gave you a bunch of good info, wait till you hear this great info.
Finally.
Finally is order, and I want to steer away. I want to steer away from number order, like first, second, third. I want a word that's powerfully saying, wait till you read what comes next. Here's the word I'm going to recommend to you. Would you write this word somewhere on your paper and put a big star next to it? Furthermore. Furthermore, in chapter 6, Thurber uses gloves to symbolize how trapped Walter is all the time. Furthermore is a great word to use like one time in your essay, because otherwise you've furthermored all over the place, and that's a mess. I also want to show you that in revision, sometimes you're not adding words or changing them. Sometimes you get rid of them totally. Like, the more I think about it, I think I need to get rid of this all the time. Thurber uses gloves to symbolize how trapped Walter feels. You don't always have to keep every word that you've ever put in. Sometimes to remove some words helps. Because do you have a page count on this essay? Have I told you how many pages this essay should be? No. Have I told you how many words this essay should be? No. So why are you focused so much on keeping all of these words? If you can say it in fewer words, try that. Walter doesn't want to be safe and warm. He wants to have adventures and be like a hero. Okay, I think these two sentences, they need to merge together. I think they need to go together. Walter does not want to be safe and warm. He wants to have adventures. I think I need something like, I'm not going to write it now, but something like, Walter doesn't want safety and warmth, comma, rather, he wants to have adventures and feel heroic. Ooh, so I already did some changing of adventures and hero there. Did you see how I merged those two sentences? His wife keeps telling him to wear his gloves. Maybe I should get rid of this but. And maybe a word like however will feel more formal. However, his wife keeps telling him to wear his gloves. His wife keeps, what do you think? Scolding. Not right now. Let's talk about it in a minute. Demanding, forcing. Really, it's more like she's really nagging at him. She's not really demanding. She's not really scolding him. See how I'm kind of picking which one's right? Because telling is different from scolding. Scolding is different from nagging. She's not forcing him. She's nagging at him. Put on your gloves, don't forget. It's cold out. Thurber uses this everyday thing. Okay, what can I say instead of thing? Item, this everyday item, like gloves, this everyday item, to symbolize or represent how Walter wants to get out, escape, why not? He wants to escape. Okay, that was super fast, but here's what I want you to notice. This is not a clean process. Look how messy that is. There's green ink all over the place. I've circled, I've underlined, I've changed words, I've crossed out words, I've added new, I've subtracted. I've merged sentences together. And the end result, I wrote it down earlier because I did this with my last class too, so I would have it quickly for the video. I want you to see what my final idea is. Maybe it still needs some more revision, but this is pretty good. This is taking into account all the ideas we just shared together about how to look at word choice and sentence variety. So tell me if you think this sounds formal. Furthermore, Thurber uses gloves to symbolize how suffocated Walter is in the story. Walter rejects the safety and warmth of his life. He wants to be the hero of his own adventures. However, he isn't the hero of anything. He is just Walter. Walter, whose wife keeps telling him to wear his gloves. Thurber uses this everyday object to symbolize how Walter wants to escape his life. This version, it's not bad, but this version gets to the idea of formal tone. So today, right here in the huddle, I want you to start doing this technique. I want you to start circling words that seem in your writing like they could stand to be a bit more formal. Do they sound conversational, like the way that you would talk with a friend or the way you'd write a journal entry? Or does your language sound formal? I want you to get started on this work right away in your notebook, and then I'll dismiss you back to your seats as you are ready. Start revising.